Hey guys, it's LazyBoy Marksman here, and as I said, I would be doing a little bit more Rage in Dark Souls, so I'm going to take you into my playthrough this morning. And I got to Wellsprings, and I wanted to go and take the time to show you the armor you receive for having the Anarchy Edition. I had actually run in here before and gotten it, and then I realized I didn't actually record it, so I reloaded my checkpoint so I could come in and show you this. When you actually get to this segment in the game, it will give you a choice of 3 armor. However, if you have the Anarchy Edition, you'll have a 4th option, which is the Crimson Elite. And the Crimson Elite has all the benefits of the first 3 armors combined into one. So it actually has a bit of an advantage if you manage to actually get your hands on an Anarchy Edition, which I'm almost certain of. There's probably thousands to a million of them floating around. The only thing that really seems to actually sell out these days are collector's editions via pre-order, and even then that's kind of a joke because, I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere, so my Walmart generally will end up with like umpteen collector's editions of any game, which is hilarious considering where I live. And after that little armor piece, we're going to look at the boogie, and by boogie, buggy you receive. This here is the hot rod buggy you have from the Anarchy Edition. It's considerably better than the beat up Doom buggy you get when you play through the game normally. And you have a 4-wheeler you have access to called the Jetter, and then there's that Doom buggy. And back to the hot rod. You can actually tune your vehicles by selecting and deselecting parts. So, like, say if you wanted a rocket launcher on your gun, and on your gun, I mean your car, instead of your miniguns, you could switch it out. And before I get into the racing segment, I want to go back in the past to rock and roll racing. To me, this was the game that set the groundwork for every other vehicular combat game. Not to mention it had one of the best soundtracks I've ever seen on SNES. Huge fan of this game. Wish they do a remake. So, when you go through Wellsprings, you will find the racing section, which you talk to the main guy, and he will tell you to come over to Slim here. I don't care, I don't edit my audio, so if I slip up, I'll just let it go. Now, when you talk to Slim, he's going to open up a racing menu. And in that menu, you're going to see the different formats of racing. The first of which is going to be time trial, which you don't actually race any other opponents. You just take to the track yourself, and you try to put in a good time. The second kind you will see is it's a standard race where you just basically race against other cars. You have no weapons, however, your car itself is a weapon. You can drive it into them and pretty much crush their armor, and if you hit them hard enough, you more or less probably will kill them, especially if you have a boost on. Because ramming cars in this game, as long as you have a pretty much high armor rating still left in your car, you can absolutely demolish theirs. And we're going to bring up this here little piece here, and by we I mean me, and I should have cut out that loading screen, but life goes on. You're going to see just a little bit of the time trial. I hacked this video up to show a little bit of each race type. I didn't actually bother leaving a whole entire race in because that would rather be boring, and I would not want to sit through there trying to comment on, you know, I turn left, I turn left, I turn left. Sounds like the Daytona 500. Hope no one's a NASCAR fan, because I sure the fuck aren't. So, the handling in this game is arcadey, of course, and you have your gas, you have your standard left, well, gas is right trigger, reverse and mild brake is left trigger, and your handbrake is B. Now the handbrake on the bike doesn't really work well. The ass end won't actually spin out, whereas in the, well, it might actually, I didn't really drive enough on the bike, but with the buggy, when you just tap B and let out the gas, it has a good handbrake spin to make some pretty tight turns. And so, we're going to move on to the standard race now, which, as I said, is actually kind of fun because even, like, the racing isn't that hard unless you actually put it on hard or higher. And, like I said, you can actually just straight up crush people with your car. However, that said, once you actually get your vehicle pretty heavy on the enhancements, you actually pretty much have some insane amount of speed, which in my case, I tend to hit a shit ton of stuff on the track. I'll cut a corner too quick, or I'll just cut a corner too wide and end up in... Right there's a perfect example. I've rolled my car, I've been blown up, got stuck before. And I haven't quite gotten the mastership on the jumps. They say to hit the boost right at the top of the ramp for your best jump, and I don't see a difference, to be honest, which kind of is sad. Now, as you go through the races, you have certain requirements, and right now, in order for me to continue further, I need a minigun. So, when you win these races, they give you some kind of like credit, which you can take to this gent over here, and he will provide you with the options you can put onto your car. You have power-ups, which you can use on your quick use buttons, like shield, armor regeneration, landmines, things like that. But the best upgrades come in the form of tires with spikes, guns, suspension, armor, and by armor I mean actual engine upgrades. You can actually get visuals too. I shut the game off just as I bought the boar theme. Like right now the hot rod has flames, but I bought a boar theme, so I'm not quite sure what that looks like. And right here you can see the miniguns pumping and me getting absolutely crushed in that corner. But it has an auto lock system. You don't really have to worry about aiming yourself, which kind of is a little letdown. I mean, it makes it a little too easy, but in the same sense, with the power-ups they're able to use, it kind of balances out, because if you're trying to drive in this thing, it's insane quick. And on top of that, trying to target somebody and weave through everything while they suddenly start, putting out a shield or they drop a landmine and send you flying, which can be harsh. But another thing too, I was a little disappointed. In the game, enemies don't drop guns, and in the races, you respawn. So here it is, Rage.